Joining me now, real special guest, Yancy, the founder of HasTraffic. How are you doing today?
Hey, Renee.
Has the conference been treating you well?
It's a great show for us. We launched here in 2012, and before that, two other companies. We launched the Affiliate Summit. So obviously, we keep coming. We're one of the main sponsors of the show, and it treats us very well in return.
Glad to hear it. This is actually my first time at Affiliate Summit West, and I am loving it, I must say. Yeah. It's a lot of great people here. I really love it.
Absolutely.
So you want to just give us shed some light on your background and how you got started in the industry?
Sure. I mean, I've been in multi-channel advertising since the early 90s. I was doing real estate magazines, golf magazines, things like that over the years. And in 2009, I got into the new media space with a company called HasTraffic. Okay. We launched also at Affiliate Summit. And then I worked with the launch of Zero Park and then with HasTraffic in 2012.
Great. So you are a veteran in the industry.
I guess I qualify.
I think so. Can you just tell us a little bit more about HasTraffic?
Now, HasTraffic is a multi-channel traffic platform. I think there's a lot of brand recognition in the space for it. I think most people know that we sell CPC, but better than everybody else in the room. We do it transparently. We kind of took the black box off of affiliate marketing. So I think in the early days of affiliate marketing, the dominant model was CPM, where an emailer, for example, had all the traffic, made all the rules, said, you want me to send it, I want X per thousand sends, and that's all he ever cared about. But to this day, most publishers care about, I did 1,000 things, what did I make? The KPI for a publisher has always been eCPM or something to that effect. Then it switched to a predominantly CPA or CPL model. About 10, 15 years ago, and because advertisers lost too much money on CPM spends, and so then it was quite dominated by this space, and essentially it was like, send me your traffic, we'll tell you what it's worth after we get it. Right. So and that worked for a while, and then it led to probably the same kind of abuses by advertisers as there were abuses by publishers back on the CPM days. So we came out about 8 years ago with to kind of reintroduce and kind of renew the thought process behind CPC traffic on email and multiple channels, domain traffic, messaging traffic, all sorts of thank you page and back button, things like that. We sell everything on CPC, so that's what we actually do better than everyone else.
Hey, you heard it here first, is they do better than everyone else. So currently, what are some trends you're noticing in the space?
Well, I think there's a lot of players that aren't here anymore for the past couple of years. I think a lot of large players from mobile. I think a lot of those went away. A lot of big networks, which I never thought I'd say goodbye to, like Mundo Media. Those went away, and I think a lot of it has to do with having too many eggs in one basket. So when we say multi-channel traffic platform, we do all sorts of channels of traffic, all sorts of geos of traffic, and all sorts of verticals, and we essentially add something to the landscape that I believe that the landscape would suffer without us in it, which is a transparent way to sell your traffic. If you're a publisher, you have $1 million worth of traffic a year, think of it as $1 million painting, right? You wouldn't give $1 million painting to an affiliate network saying, sell this to somebody and tell me what it's worth later. You would say, hey, it's $1 million painting, you can start the auction wherever you want, but I'll no sell it till $1 million, and if it sells for $10 million, you don't get to keep the extra 9. So, so what we provide is a transparent place where you can say what you want the traffic to sell for and where do you want it to go if we don't sell it at that price. And if we run the auction up to 10 times what your minimum bid price is, you still get the same percentage of the revenue that you would get on the first click.
Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. For those that are just getting started in this industry, newcomers out there, what is the best piece of advice you could offer them?
Best piece of advice is, if you can imagine the space without you in it, then you don't have a business yet. If you've centered your entire revenue or whole business around a single supplier demand partner, and you lose that partner and you don't exist anymore, you don't have a business yet. You might have a monetization stream,
Right.
you might have gotten in the way of someone else's money, you might have added a little bit of value in the process, but you made yourself very easy to go around. So when you're starting out, ask yourself, what can I do to make myself invaluable to the landscape? And then you're going to have a business, and then you're going to have sustainability.
Very good advice. Make sure you guys are taking notes on that. So pretty much, yeah, you want to make sure, I guess, you're adding something to the industry that you got to make sure you can't be replaced. Or
well, there's plenty of replacing going on, but you have to add more than you take from the landscape. So, and then you'll persevere. Then you'll still be standing 10, 12 years later.
So add more than you take to the landscape. That's great advice. So we just closed out a decade. It's a new year, new decade. What do you think are going to be the biggest opportunities moving forward in 2020 and even beyond?
Well, I think 2020, I think we can kind of see what's coming. I think messaging is very strong. Social is very strong. I think email continues to be the locomotive that pulls a lot of weight in this space.
Right.
I think compliance is going to be very closely looked at in 2020. I think TCPA compliance, CCPA coming out shortly. We'll see how that gets enforced in the affiliate space, but certainly it's going to be enforced with the big companies and the privacy that is expected in California. And of course, regional jurisdictions are also changing the rules of engagement as far as reaching out to potential customers.
So these regulations really are going to start making maybe a...
Well, I mean, anybody who ignores them is doing it at their own at their own folly.
Wisely put. Lastly, anyone out there that is interested in working with HasTraffic, how do they reach you? Where can they find you online?
Well, we have a website called HasTraffic.com where we have traffic, and you can just go on there. Yeah, we have we have QR codes that you can kind of chat with, get some basic information ahead of signing up on the platform.
Oh, cool.
But the best way is basically to fill out a form and request access either to the inventory or to the advertising network.
Great. Make sure you check out HasTraffic.com. Eddie Grand, Yancy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you guys at the next conference.